inside for Albert. Albert will get the score. Fiddler, his farewell. He captain to a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. The team list for round 24 have just dropped. For a lot of people out there, their first week of Supercoach draft finals, some their second head-to-head finals. A lot happening in the Supercoach world, and obviously 4 weeks until the NRL finals kick off, and there is a lot to get through today. Some major ins, some enormous outs as well, especially in our first game. Kathmandu, welcome in. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. And I asked you this before. I said, what are the biggest outs for this week? And you did mention this first game, so I think we should get straight into it. We have the Panthers taking on the Storm at CommBank Stadium on Thursday night, kickoff at 7:50 p.m.
Yeah, this one potentially a grand final preview, as much as I know some people would hate to hear that. This season's been so exciting and different teams and whatnot, but honestly, the longer it goes, the more I'm starting to wonder if the Panthers are going to be there again. It wouldn't shock me if just grand final experience gets the Melbourne Storm there. One thing standing in their way is this Ryan Pappenhausen injury that just keeps on going. Out again this week, not even in the 17 whatsoever. So Nick Meaney, he's been named at fullback once again. So a big watch over the next few weeks with Ryan Pappenhausen. I mean, he's obviously not at 100%. They're trying to manage him to, I would assume, get him through to finals, but optically just not good for the Melbourne Storm. So you've got Nick Meaney moving to fullback, and your centres are going to be Marion Seve and Joe Chan. So far from ideal when you're taking on the Penrith Panthers, who are on one of the great runs at the moment. As far as the Panthers go, no changes for them. The only change last week essentially was Scotty Sorensen came in jersey 17. He remains there. Still no sign of Isaiah Yeo, so not on the extended bench at all there. Outside of that, no major changes for the Penny Panthers.
Friday night, we have 2 games, of course. The early game kicking off at 6 p.m. We have the Warriors taking on the Dragons. This one is over in Auckland at Go Media Stadium.
Yeah, the Warriors coming back home looking for a bounce back off the back of their loss to Canterbury last week. The big changes there. Tamate Martin, he's obviously out with a HIA. So Tanner Boyd gets his opportunity back in the halfback jersey. I think during, considering the conditions last week in their game, I thought it was crazy to drop him in the first place. He went back to New South Wales Cup and had a really good game, come from behind victory there where he was very instrumental. So Tanner Boyd back at 7. Wade Egan returns in jersey 9. Healy, he moves to 14. And the other one, Kurt Capewell's out as well. So Lecker returns to the starting side there for the Warriors. As far as the Dragons goes, the debutant from last week, Buchanan, he holds on once again. Matt Fangai in the centres. Corey Allen on the wing. Molo, he returns on the bench. And Tui Pelotu, just worth noting, he's on the extended bench as well. Molo, he comes in for Halangahu, who made his debut last week. And yeah, Tui Pelotu is going to be a big watch on that extended bench. I'm pretty sure he played New South Wales Cup last week, so you'd have to think he'd be getting damn close, but they have had a few false alarms with him throughout this season. Late game, Kat?
Late game, we're over at Allianz Stadium. We've got the Roosters hosting the Bulldogs. This one kicks off at 8 p.m.
Yeah, now this is the first of the 3 games played at Allianz Stadium this weekend. There's a Friday, Saturday and a Sunday, which is super exciting to see an extension of Indigenous round. We've got the Roosters. Obviously, Wong, he got knocked out last week, so he won't be featuring. Egan Butcher, he jumps on the edge. Outside of that, nothing to really note with the Sydney Roosters. For the Bulldogs, Connor Tracy has been named on the extended bench. We'll wait and see if he does play. But Serraldo, in his press conference last week, he did indicate that Tracy was very close to playing last week, so I assume now he's been named there, he will probably line up at fullback this week. Keen to see what they do with Stephen Crichton. He's obviously been playing a bit of a hybrid fullback kind of role. I'd be keeping it the same even with Tracy back. I think it adds a new dimension to their attacks. That'll be a big watch in that game, which is going to be a cracker too, just quietly. Super Saturday, Mando.
That will be a good game. Okay, Super Saturday. It all starts at 3 p.m. We're at PointsBet Stadium. No, we're not. We're at Shark Park in Cronulla. I always mess up.
Gets you every time.
I got a message about it last week too, so
Good.
Thank you to the person who pointed it out. Sharks taking on the Titans. This one kicks off at 3.
Yeah, for the Sharkies, 2 big outs this week. We knew about Nikora. He got a 3-game suspension for that tackle last week, but he also has a bye during that period, so it means that he's not back until finals week 1. It's a big loss there. And then off the back of that, Ramian, that news broke today. It looks like it's about a 4 to 6 week return for him. So unfortunately, depending on how deep the Sharkies go in finals, that might be season red rose over for Jesse Ramian. I was reading an article that it's a broken thumb, I believe, which are very hard to sort of come back any quicker than what they say. So an interesting watch there. So Billy Burns, he comes in for Britt Nikora, and Hiroti, he returns for Jesse Ramian. So Talakai and Hiroti will be in the centres. Still no sign of Iro as it stands right now. For the Titans, Phil Sami and Jojo Fafita in the centres. Tony Francis, he returns on the wing. Mo Fodawaker was ruled out last week with an illness. He returns at prop. Hugh Jin, Tino in jersey 13. And we've got Kano Keeney. He's in jersey 18. He played 40 minutes of reserve grade last week. It was a scheduled, it was a planned pre-game for him to play the first half. He got through it really well, had a hand in a few tries, a couple of offloads, a few tackle breaks. So Keeney's in jersey 18. Now, I think I saw NRL Physio post a little bit earlier today that he heard that Jojo Fafita won't be playing, but he's been named. So there's every chance that you could see AJ Brimson maybe move to centre and Keeney start at fullback. Keeney could also come off the bench. They've got a few options there that they could take the Titans. But that team's starting to take shape once again. 5:30 Saturday night, Kat.
5:30, we're at Suncorp Stadium in Brizzy. It's the Broncos taking on the Dolphins, two teams that will most definitely want to win out of this one.
Yeah, Christ, these two teams have had it tough. The Broncos, Karapani returns on the wing. Obviously, Selwyn Cobbo injured last week, along with Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds. So the way they will line up, Karapani on the wing, Walters at 6, Benny Hunt moves from hooker to 7, Corey Pakes gets the starting role at 9, and Smoothie comes off the bench in jersey 14. For the Dolphins, somehow they got out of last week without too many changes. You got Francis Molo, who's out this week. Kenny Bromwich, he comes in on the bench, I think for one of his first games this season. Kenny Bromwich, haven't seen him in a while. Late game Saturday night, Kat.
Late game, we're at a course stadium. We've got the Rabbitohs taking on the Eels. This one kicks off at 7:35.
So the Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell, he will remain at centre. Havili is at prop. And Shaq Mitchell, he returns on the bench. Worth noting, Cody Walker, he is on the extended bench there. For the Parramatta Eels, Dylan Brown is at centre. Same as last week. That was a late change. They are 1-17 outside of that. Worth noting that Iongi is returning in this game. So we'll see what happens there, whether he comes in for Josh or whatnot. That game's at Allianz too. These three are at Allianz.
Yeah, I was just about to correct myself with that.
Yeah, Allianz. So there's, I think it's Friday, the late game Friday night, the late game Saturday, and then Sunday as well, the 2 o'clock games, all at Allianz.
All at Allianz Stadium.
Yeah, that's cool. It's going to be unreal. Take me to that game, Endo.
Well, yeah, speaking of that game, we're at 2 p.m. Allianz Stadium. We've got the West Tigers taking on the Manly Seagulls.
For the Tigers, May returns at centre. Starfatoa is also in the centres. Outside of that, no changes for the Tigers coming off the bye. For the Manly Seagulls, Lehigh Opawate, he returns, but he returns on the wing. So you will see Tommy Turbo remain at fullback as it stands, which means that Ruben Garrick, he moves into the centres and Tommy Talau goes back to the bench. Burbo's on the edge. Simpkin, he starts in jersey 9. Jazz is in jersey 13 because Jake Trbojevic is out this week, obviously. We'll keep an eye on that Manly backline, but I reckon Turbo's looking okay at fullback. I think he'll probably stay there for this game, but we'll wait and see how that one plays out. Last game of the week, Kathmandu.
Was just going to add a shout out to Ella, who's wanted to see Caleb Navale on the bench pretty much the whole season. And
there hasn't been many great days to be Ella this year. This might be one of them.
She's very happy to see that. So I'm happy for you, Ella. And for Caleb, of course. So then we have the last game of the round. This one kicks off at 4:05. We've got the Cowboys taking on the Knights up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Yeah, so for the Cowboys, Cohen Hess obviously out. I think he's out. I think that's probably the end of his season because they've got the bye the last week. So I think it's a 3-game suspension for Cohen Hess. Pretty ugly tackle, that one. So Harrison Edwards, he comes back on the bench. Valia is in jersey 18 there. So we'll see if he comes into the side. As far as the Knights go, big change here. Connor Vitano, he gets his opportunity at fullback. If you've been listening to this podcast the last few years, a kid we've been talking about a heap. He's been a prodigy coming through all the grades. He's been playing New South Wales Cup for the last few months. He gets his opportunity and he will line up at fullback, which is super exciting to see. So Gagai, he will move back into the centres. And then you've got Tyson Frizzell also in jersey 13 because Phoenix Crossland is out, and you got Matty Arthur on the bench as well. So a good little one to finish the week. The debut of Connor Vitano, a kid with a big big future, in my opinion. Obviously, a lot of fullbacks at the Knights, so much so to the point they had to move Fletcher Sharp into the 5'8" role. So give a good opportunity for other clubs to have a look at Conovatano and how he handles first grade as well, because I think he'll be a pretty popular guy over the next few years. And the Canberra Raiders this week, well deserved. It's been a long time between buys. They've got the bye this week, their final one of the season. I believe they come out of this and they play the Penrith Panthers. So 2 weeks to prepare for what I would just assume Ricky Stewart is building up as, hey, this is finals footy. This is must win for us. That'll be an absolute cracker game. That's next Friday, coming to you from Mudgee. So super exciting, huge week of team list there. A lot happening. Obviously, Ryan Pappenhausen, probably the headline act there. Big implications on Supercoach this week as well. Myself and Timmy will be back 3 p.m. on Wednesday for Beers and Break Evens. Motherfucker had an enormous week. So it's probably the last thing I want to do right now is sit down and talk to him for an hour and a half, but I will do it for you guys this week. Sowie joins us once again Thursday morning on the podcast and 3 p.m. Thursday afternoon on YouTube. Plenty of content coming your way this week on the Rugby League Guru Podcast.